could get the ADRs and the inspectors for council to please stand. Who's all here? I know there's a few of them. Thank you guys. You're kind of the backbone of this whole thing. So appreciate you being here. Companions, Sir Knights, I want to thank everybody that the York-Rite bodies that put this event on. It takes a lot of you to get this thing going. From, if you think about it, there was probably a committee that talked about it. Somebody was tasked with putting the flyer together, taking the reservations, doing the shopping, et cetera, et cetera. It's just wonderful. This was the second time we've been able to be down here, and something that we look forward to. You know, the Bay Area has a very special place in my heart. I grew up down here, and I want to thank Lisa for indulging me yesterday, not being one to want to show up late. We got to the event yesterday 3 hours early. So we had some time to spend. So I decided to drive around a little bit. We were in Alameda. So my mother grew up there. We drove around and found her old house where my grandfolks lived. I used to go as a little kid to play. Then we took, I'm not sure what the name of the road was, but from Alameda, we went down, it might have been Doolittle, and we went all the way down to San Leandro and hit Marina Street, and we took a right because as a little kid, my other grandmother would take us down to the park that was down at the end of there by the marina and play. You know, none of those places looked like they did or the way I remembered them to look. But they all felt the same. I still had the same fond memories of every place that we went. And I'm going to get back to that in a little while. One of the first things I want to talk about is COMCHE. We've had the opportunity for the last few years of holding our degrees at COMCHE, and holding the degrees there is somewhat fragile at this point. I would like everybody to keep an eye out on the website for a sign-up sheet for the different tasks that need to be accomplished at COMCHE. Things like getting there a couple weeks early to help with the grounds. Things like emptying the garbage cans at the end. Richard and Sherry are putting together a list of all the activities that need to be taking place. And rather than just putting those activities on a few people, we're going to ask people to sign up. We're not going to ask you to sign up to do everything, but we're going to ask you to sign up and do the one thing that you sign up for. And by doing that, you know, many hands make quick work of things. So it's not for a while, but we're going to be talking about it the rest of this year because next year is a big year. It's a 50th anniversary. So we're looking to have a very special event next year, and we really need to start talking about it now. The next thing is the CMMRF, the Cryptic Masons Medical Research Foundation, and our giving to that charity. You know, one of the advancements that they've recently come up with is a new cell type that allows them to grow new blood vessels around clogged ones. This is going to have a huge impact on cardiovascular diseases, and I just want everybody to be aware, if we can continue with the generous donations that everybody's been doing, those donations really go a long way to help medical research that will help impact maybe some of us here in our lifetimes. The next thing I want to talk about is a very special event that we held, I guess it was just last weekend. And let me kind of preface this by how this came to play. Our Grand Director of Ritual was contacted by the Nevada Grand Council, and they asked him if we would be interested as California Grand Council to go to Reno and hold the super excellent master degree there. And so Mark contacted me and talked to me about it, and my thought is to see if we could have all of their companions come to us, since we were going to be doing the degree. So he went back, they had some negotiations, talks were had, and Mark called me back and said, you know, their Grand Council will go ahead and host us. And they took care of all of the lodging for all of the cast members. Now, we had a fairly large contingent of cast members, and they came from all throughout the state. We had people from, Escondido area coming up, flying up. They had over 50 companions take that degree last Sunday. And I want to compliment all of the cast members. The cast members learned their parts, and they just did a fantastic job performing the ritual. I'm going to call Mark out on a couple other things too, because Mark did an excellent job in all of the arrangements, making sure that the backdrops were there. I know he went up a few weeks earlier just to see the facility to make sure everything was going to run smoothly. We had a practice that started Saturday morning. And, we've all been in degrees, done degrees, had degrees given to us. I'm going to say that most people that have a degree do not go home afterwards and remember every word that was spoken. But do you remember when I was driving around and I had that emotion? Even though it didn't look the same, I had the same feeling. That's what the candidates remember. They remember the emotion